So when's the best time to purchase car insurance? There's a few triggers that we need to look out for when you're thinking of purchasing car insurance. If you're trying to time it, you're purchasing a vehicle or something's coming up and you want to say, okay, this is the right time, let's dive in and go over the real main pieces that you want to think of when you're purchasing the car insurance. The first one is a date. Now, I didn't necessarily believe this and I dove into this a little bit further because I was playing the numbers in my head. I've been doing insurance for 12 plus years and I've always been like, okay, what's the date that I see the biggest change? Because insurance companies do renew policies and they make changes during the year. In a lot of cases, December is the best time to purchase the car insurance because those changes haven't taken place. Let's do the math. How many times has insurance gone up and how many times has insurance gone down? It has gone down before and it's a possibility, but in more cases than not, insurance creeps up with inflation, with the cost of repairs, with the liability claims. All of those things play a factor over here and they usually just don't get easier. The risks get harder and heavier as the years pass and the cost of repairs tend to get a lot more expensive. In that case, when you're shopping before December or December is usually that time frame when they start to raise or rate increase or file for rate increases. What I see more often than not, that's the easy answer, is usually the next couple months after that are probably fine as well. Because what happens is they reevaluate their year, they see what's happened, and March is when they start to make those changes. So between September and March are the times that I see the best, and the other times is when I've seen them the worst. This last year in 2024 and 2023 technically, the times I've seen them change the most was right around the September mark. Why do I remember that? Because that's when mine renewed and I got a $1,000 increase. So boom, thanks for doing nothing. We got you. I'm with you. Like I might sell insurance, but I don't like to purchase it either way, either in some scenarios. For the same policy, you may have a rate increase even without any changes that you've made, especially going into 2025. The other best time to purchase car insurance or renew or shop around for car insurance is when you've had what's called a life-changing event. In insurance, a life-changing event doesn't mean that everything went upside down. It's really a few things. So first, if your credit has gotten better, if you got better credit, then yes, that might be a time to reshop. Even with the current insurance you're with, they might force you to wait until renewal, but if you're ready to take that leap, then go ahead and shop around. If you are moving to a different location, if you're deciding where to live, what we call territories now, they used to be just zip codes, they're lumped into groups. And those make a difference on what the cost of insurance are. If you're going to a riskier location, then the cost is going to be higher. If you're going into a less risky location, the cost is going to be a lot less expensive. Knowing where you are going to be is going to be beneficial for when you're talking to your agent, trying to decide what's the location that I'm going to go. You gotta have really an address because it's not just something we can plug a zip code into. I guess if you're like I am and like I have been in the past, I'll just Google a local address in the zip code and plug it in just to see. And it gives us an idea, at least to give you an idea of the difference in cost. If you get married, there's a big benefit to getting married in some states. They've half outlawed that in some states because there's not really a direct correlation, or at least you have to show proof that being married is a lower risk. It is only because of a couple things. If we take all of the this shouldn't be or that should be, being married in opinions are a better risk, but adding two cars together is a better risk. Having a multi-car discount, if one of you has renters or home insurance, having that added on is another discount that most companies give. So you're getting 20 to 30 to even 40% off for being married. It's changed a little bit, especially in states like Michigan, where they allow you to have significant others. Just keep in mind, if you don't plan on being tied together for a long time, making someone a significant other on your policy, it's called a primary named insured, doing so is going to tie you to them for a long period of time and make you guys liable for each other. If that's the case and you're okay with that, then that might be an option in the state that you're in. By the way, if you are shopping for car insurance, I'll put a link in the description below where you can do a quote with an independent agent. Those typically give you the best options because they work with 4 or 5, even 10 different companies to where you can shop it with one person, but they can check all the rates of the different companies that are available. That's going to give you the best rate based on your insurance score, based on your location, your marital status, and all the things that we're talking about now. And that's going to help you get the best pricing by being able to see what your options are available. The other major life change is if you get a teen driver. Teen drivers tend to add about $100+ a month in addition, just for the risk of them being in the home. They want to drive, they're eager, they're going out, and they're just new. They're trying to learn. The opposite is true. If they are becoming a 25-year-old, that's the sweet spot of when the price could change. So having someone that's either leaving your policy or the age has changed, that might be a good reason for you to look at different insurance companies. That leads directly into the additional piece, which is your age. If you're turning a certain age, usually 25 and up, your birthday is the best time to shop as well. We've really got the December time to March time is like that sweet spot. And then if your birthday falls in there, that's just a given. If your birthday hits a couple weeks before the birthday or a couple weeks after the birthday, and you're in that sweet spot and maybe you're switching locations, there's a lot of reasons for that to happen. There's another subcategory, I guess. It's not really a life-changing event, but if you've had a major claim or a major accident, that's affecting your policy today. The cost you pay is based on the risk. If that's hitting 3, 4, or even 5 years old, that's a good time for you to think about whether you should shop for new insurance, because that coming off can impact your rate consistently. But Mark, can't my current insurance just redo it? No, unfortunately, they just don't allow it. At least I've not seen a company do that. If you have a claim coming off, you can wait until the renewal. So if the renewal is a month or two away, and if you don't mind paying a few bucks extra, that's fine. If you like the company or the agent you're with, just wait a few months and have them rerun it without the claim or out that ticket. That way you get that best rate. If your insurance score has gone up, you can ask them to rerun the insurance score. So that gets you a better pricing based on that as well. Most companies just don't rerun policies to rerun them, and even if they're requested, they just require that you finish the current term or subcontract. I guess it's a one-way contract, so to speak, but that contract that you have with them, that application, to continue before they start running the new one. So what are the next steps you should take if you are going to start shopping around? There's 3 things that you have to think about. The first is the companies that you want to shop with. You don't necessarily have to follow the link below. You can start calling them yourselves. That's just fine. You can make a little note. There's a spreadsheet, whatever the case is. You can call multiple agents. And that's one way to find out what the prices are. Personally, it's easier to just go independent and just have them do it for you. But you've got to have the trust in the person that you're dealing with. So if you don't have that trust, then you should start building it on your own and finding out what companies are the best to work with. The second is to make sure that you have the same apples to apples quotes. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people get ripped off because they know what they want. They call a 1-800 number, and that 1-800 number says, if you just want cheap, we'll do this, that, and this and that. And before you know it, you bought a really good cheap policy, but you didn't realize that you weren't covered for barely anything that you had before. Had you had quoted the apples to apples, odds are it probably would have been the same price. If not, you may be even paying more to where your current insurance could have just lowered the coverages themselves. And the third is to understand the discounts that you need to have in your policy, because a lot of people I find don't understand those discounts. That's where really, honestly, any agent, independent or not, usually dives in and tries to find them. If they've been doing insurance for several years, they know what discounts are going to get the best rates with which companies. You could honestly make a phone call to half the agents and I'll bet you they already know the company that they want to shop with, because talking with you, understanding the vehicle, understanding your history and what you're going to go through, they're going to quickly understand which company is going to be the best fit. If you are looking and don't quite fully understand the discounts that you need to have, I'll put a video here that goes a lot more in depth on discounts. If you really need to understand the coverages that we were just talking about, how to get those apples to apples, we have to first figure out what coverages you should carry. This Car Insurance 101 will go a lot more in detail to go over those coverages that you should be carrying on your policy. Let me know what your thoughts are if I miss anything in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.